What's going on, YouTubers, gamers, and hobbyists? Welcome to this video, which I don't even know what to call it at the moment, other than Mandela effect. Something strange has happened to me recently, and I was warned not to make this video. I was warned by friendly advice. Let's just say I was given friendly advice not to make this video because it was too conspiracy, if you know what I mean. Now, you've heard of the Mandela effect. If you haven't, then click off now. Obviously, I've heard of the Mandela effect, and I've watched some very interesting videos regarding it. I find them entertaining. Before everybody says, "Oh, conspiracy theorists," click off whatever. I don't care. It's just a bit of fun, right? But a bit of background. I've recently done a video talking about an issue of Sinclair Programs. It was February 1984. I'll just pop it on the screen for you. That issue there came up in a couple of my videos, right? So, and I've watched, I've watched Mandela effect videos because I find them fun and entertaining. Things like, what did the witch say, in the Seven Dwarfs when she looked into the mirror? What was the rhyme? Was it mirror, mirror on the wall, or magic mirror on the wall? Things like that. And obviously, it's different to how I remember it. So, for those of you that don't know what the Mandela effect is, the Mandela effect is where a bunch of people remember things differently to the rest of humanity. Like some of us remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison. So it's kind of like, we come from a different reality or dimension or whatever. So that's where the conspiracy bit comes in. But and as I say, I watch these videos because I find them fun and entertaining. I used to like watching videos about the flat Earth. Not that I believe the Earth is flat, but because I found them highly entertaining how they would go to such great lengths to try and prove that the Earth is flat. But apparently they're not allowed to do that anymore, which is a shame because I found them highly entertaining, which is what I thought it was all about, entertainment. But hey ho, that's okay. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here because recently I've had a couple of what I'm going to call Mandela effects for no other reason than I don't know what else to call them, that have been personal to me. Now, watching them in videos is all fun and fine. What did they say in this movie? What was the line you remember? What's the logo you remember here? What color was this? What color was that? The North Pole. Do you remember it being a landmass where Santa Claus lived, or is it now an ocean? Apparently, it's an ocean. But yeah, that kind of thing. And so I remember it one way. The rest of humanity, or the majority of humanity, including Google searches, books, reference books, that show a different timeline, it would seem. And these are just words and terms of phrase that I use just to make things easier for me. I'm just gonna have a sip of this coffee a minute. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because it's partly hobby related, because it relates to my hobby, and B, because they are both linked to me personally. I wasn't expecting to feel the way I do about them. And to be honest, I'm kind of freaked out by it. I'm a little bit freaked out by it. Now, the first one isn't so bad. Sinclair Programs, as you've seen on the picture. I'll just look at the pictures on my phone a minute. Yeah, so when I was a kid, I don't know if I've talked about this on videos. I've talked about it with a friend of mine. I've talked about the Sinclair Programs, obviously, and it was a magazine that came out monthly. It had programs in it that readers had made and sent in for other readers to type in, save, and play themselves. The games and whatever else. Okay. Now, I particularly remember this one because It was my first big program that I typed in on my ZX81, and I spent the entire weekend of free time that I had typing it in for it not to work because there was a bug or two in it which got rectified later. And I think, looking back on it now, I think they purposely put bugs in them or didn't include the whole thing in order to make you keep buying the magazine so that you got the updates. Fair enough. It's a business model. That's fine. Okay. I remember this game because I spent all weekend on it, all the time I could for it not to work. But it was such a good game. It was program of the month in that particular issue. And I remember the game being called Time Machine. So it was about a time machine. You land in different time zones and you have to find parts to fix your time machine so you can get back, blah, blah, blah. It was an adventure game. And I could instantly tell as I started typing it in that it was a program of quality. Whoever made this program knew what they were doing. They could code BASIC very, very well. My first surprise. So look when you open the cover, you get the kind of index contents page. And there at the bottom, program of the month. Now, first of all, the first thing is it's not called Time Machine here. Program of the month, Time Switch. Now, before you say, well, it must have been a different program. No, it's not a different program. So I remember the picture that comes to it. And when you get to the picture, it's not even called Time Switch anymore. It's called Time Slide. Now, look at that picture. That square, which is supposed to be the time machine. I remember that picture because it was ingrained into my brain. Now, I don't remember there being a typo on the name, and I thought it was called Time Machine. Now, yes, you could say, well, long time ago, Pete, and your memory is not exactly the most reliable, is it? Come on now with your MS, and I tend to agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that. So this is more of a, well, that's funny. I'm sure it was the other way, but there you go. Brain plays tricks on you. It does, and I know it does. So I can admit to that one maybe not being a Mandela effect, although I swear it was called Time Machine. All right. The next one, however, revolves around this book. Zork 2, The Manifesto Quest. Now, these were choose your own adventure books, like the poor man's Fighting Fantasy, because Fighting Fantasy had come out and they were taking off big time. I had about 7 of them, and when I got into Zork, well, I didn't get into Zork. They were all in my school library. They had Fighting Fantasy books and they had the Zork books. Cool. And why I remember this one is because it's not just me that remembers this particular incident. A friend of mine comes to see me every so often. We reminisce when we get together. We both nostalgic. We talk about the old days, things we used to talk about when we were in the school playground, the toys of the time, what girls we fancied, all that kind of stuff, what computer games we were into, what we liked, what we didn't like. Sorry, I'm just going to have another sip of coffee. Now, during a lesson I don't even remember what the lesson was, but I remember a little bit of downtime and we were going through this book together. And I say these are the poor man's Fighting Fantasy books because you didn't need dice or anything. You just literally chose your own way through the story. Now, there was a bit in it where it said you had to get somewhere to get out of a particular situation. And the choices where it said, did you get the magic sneakers from the Prince of Caldorn? If so, turn to page 92. If not, go to page 97. And I've got the picture of it here. I found it, and there it is. It's classic because we both remember that if we said, because we looked at each other and said, yeah, of course we got those sneakers. We didn't. We didn't have the sneakers, the magic sneakers from the Prince of Caldon. We just said we did to get up and kept our fingers on the page so that we could go back if something bad happened. Which, when we said, yeah, we got the sneakers, turn to page 92. That's what it says there. Whatever it was in this alternative reality, I don't know. But as soon as we turned to the other page, there was a picture of a demon like coming out of like a pentagram, holding his hand out. I think he might have held a dice or something. I don't know, or just a hand outstretched, saying, "You have been caught cheating by the demon of cheats," or something like that. And he's come to claim your soul. You're banished forthwith from the realm of Zork or whatever it was. But basically, it was a trap put in to catch you out if you were cheating. And we thought it was hilarious that we both did this, and we confessed to each other. Yeah, we did that in a lot of these choose your own adventure story games. However, look at the next picture. This is what happens now when you choose to say that you've got the magic sneakers. It lets you. Did not happen. And it's not just me. A friend of mine remembers it differently too. And his memory is considerably more reliable. At least I think it is. The mine, he doesn't have MS anyway. So no medical conditions that I'm aware of. And we both distinctly remember that if we chose to have the magic sneakers, there was no such thing. There was no Prince of Caldon. But now there is. And I don't know why, but it's just freaking me out. Because to start with, when you come across things like this, it's like, okay, I do have a neurological condition. Is it getting worse? So you're kind of gaslighting yourself. Is it getting worse? I don't know. So I just find it weird, and I wanted to put this out onto video so that maybe sometime in the future, if things change again, I can come back and I'll check, and this video will have changed as well. If I slip into another time dimension, whatever, if I change time zones with another dimension, reality, whatever, I'll look back and this video will have changed too. But there might be something in it that makes me think. Well, one, why am I making the video? Something's off. Something's off that I don't remember. Right. Okay, that's fine. It's Christmas. I'm wearing a Christmas jumper. It's not Christmas yet. It's the 19th of December when I recorded this. I've got this hat on because I shaved my head and my head's cold. So, my cat's been laying on it for warmth. So he's got full of cat hair as well. I don't know. All these things that the timeline will have to change if things do happen that way. You all think I'm crazy. Doesn't matter if I am, does it? It really doesn't. Hobby's still going well. I'm still making tutorials. I'm still making videos. But I had to get this one because I'm fascinated by it. And once again, I'd like to finish by asking you guys, putting it up to you, have you ever experienced something akin to the Mandela effect? Something that you remember differently? Have you come across and you swear it was one way and history says it's another? If the continent's changed for you, do you remember Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father," or just "No, I am your father"? Which version do you remember? It's I understand, right, that your brain plays tricks on you. I understand that, but odds alone say that this is happening too many times for it to be that every single time. So it only needs one occasion to be correct or incorrect for the whole premise to fly apart, and it just gets taken down and shown for what it is. So I don't know. It freaks me out. A lot of stuff like this does when I think about it too much. I try not to, but as I was making the video today, I was desperately trying not to say anything. but it's got the better of me in the end, and I've had to make a video about it. I'll put it in random because it is a random bloody video, isn't it? So that's it's just look at it as it's just another form of entertainment. Something weird's happening with Pete. Maybe Pete's going off his rocker. Maybe his condition's getting worse. I don't know. Whatever the case is, but this is how I feel, and that's what's important. So, it's the effect it has on me, not the intent. Right? That's the important thing. It's like when someone says something to you, they might not intend to, piss you off or hurt your feelings or whatever. But if that is what the effect is, that's the important thing, right? And that's got to be addressed. So I'm addressing this issue here now. What's going on? Anyway, thanks for watching. Do give it a thumbs up, please. That would make my day. Even just one thumbs up would make me smile. Like, share, and all that other good stuff. I'll get back to some hobby stuff. And I'll see you on another video. Bye for now. Bye-bye.